consciousness is crucial. This consciousness is, however, quite simple, already present, and in no way different from existence itself. Otherwise, there would be no awareness of existence the same way human self-awareness would not be an option. Therefore, we can neither separate the nature of existence from the nature of consciousness itself, nor consciousness from existence itself, and we cannot separate existence and awareness of existence from human self-awareness. At a certain moment in our existence, we become aware of some form of existence, basic logical reasoning on three-dimensional physical reality. Euclid in his work Elements. Euclidean geometry is not a standard mathematical system, but a mathematically formulated Platonic philosophy of ideas. In Elements, Euclid defines a point as that which has no part. It is in effect the occult Elian definition of being, or the absolute. According to this teaching, being, the absolute, is that which has no part. In that respect, a point is a geometric notion of the continuum or wholeness. A point is a non-spacious entity because space without dimensions is inconceivable, and this definition of the point coincides with the metaphysical notion of being or the divine absolute. This is also the same singular point that in the imagination of physicists existed before the alleged Big Bang. The story is further developed in various directions, the first one being the scientific materialistic mind and the corporate elite that financed them and determined what science and scientific are and are not, with a theory that was further developed in which this divine particle exploded into the Big Bang that created the entire cosmos, making it spread out to this day due to the intensity of the blast, and will consequently at some very distant point in the future begin to crunch once the full swing of expansion wears out. They consider this point to be the point of origin of the myriad subatomic particles that with their mutual reactions create far more complex constructs, including a multitude of atoms and molecules, and all the material universe. Enlightened people tell a different story altogether, although they do not do it through science. Instead, they see reality for what it is, namely all enlightened people point to one thing: there is nothing outside the divine absolute. Everything that exists and manifests into everything that can be manifested also manifests the awareness of existence, and this same awareness is the awareness we have of ourselves and the world around us. They say there is no multitude but only unity, that God or the absolute never lost itself, but is at all times the one who is here and now in everything as everything that is. Whatever happened to the divine particle, if it did not explode in the Big Bang? Nothing has ever happened to it. We should simply understand its nature as a contrast to the absolute itself. A being in the absolute has all the potential within itself that the absolute does. It can, as experiments with subatomic particles have proved to be in two places simultaneously. This also means in all places at once, behave both as a particle and means a particle and a wave of energy. Sorry about that. And all of its forms are interconnected in non-local communication. In other words, creation is instant and absolute, not linear. This divine particle has properties that by far exceed the speed of light. Speed that exceeds the speed of light has also been proven, but the evidence is kept in the dark and away from public view. These are the so-called scalar or non-Hertzian waves, considered to be millions of times faster than the speed of light, which means they are practically instantaneous. The divine particle vibrates as scalar waves, and that is why it appears and acts in several places at the same time. It appears and acts in all possible places simultaneously. It does so continuously, momentarily, and simultaneously. Does so continuously, momentarily. Oh gosh, what happened there? Sorry about that again. By appearing potentiality of the divine absolute, since the absolute is not limited by space or time. Its virtual particle needs no time to manifest itself, nor is it conditioned by space. The momentary appearance in several locations simultaneously to a seer in the physical body seems like they are dealing with a large number of particles, as though they created a multitude of various atoms and elements as objects in space and time. It only appears that way because their speed is much faster than the speed of mind, of perception, and I wanted to say light, perception and of light itself. It is instantaneous on a gross level. Vibrations of one divine particle create formations that affect other more complex particles and atoms, but the emergence of atoms and molecules and atoms. Sorry. Oof.